Hello to everybody. Welcome to today's inspiration. Today's inspiration is all about forgiveness. Good morning to you, Tracy. Really excited. Good morning. Hello to you, Valerie. I'm really excited to see where our conversation on forgiveness is going to take us. And as I was sort of thinking of the preamble, so many things were just coming to me. And forgiveness, I think, has a different place and a different meaning for everybody. But I wanted to start off with forgiveness. I wanted to start off with thinking, what does forgiveness even mean? What does forgiveness mean? What does forgiveness mean? And the first definition that I found with respect to what forgiveness means is acceptance with a flavor of compassion. Acceptance with a merging of compassion is what I got with forgiveness is. Because with forgiveness, there's an acceptance and there's also a release of energy. And with that release, it requires compassion. So that was one of the definitions I came up with. The other definition I came up with was maybe balance, alignment, just releasing of resistance. So then I took it a bit further and I said, what does it mean when we need to forgive? Why do we ultimately need to forgive? What's in us that requires a need for forgiveness? And then I recognized it means there's resistance. There's resistance in one of the four bodies. Resistance in the egoic body, where we're carrying our identity and our beliefs. Resistance in our mental body, where our thoughts and processes, the stories, the victim stories. Resistance in our emotions, our physical, how we're holding it. And resistance to where we are. So do we want to start sharing our stories? Where is resistance or forgiveness that you'd like to welcome to your life? Or is it that you just really like the thesis and how we talk and just sort of here just for the fun? Or are there stories of forgiveness? I know during one of my inspirations, I had mentioned that forgiveness does have a bit of egoic layer in there. I realized that for me to forgive myself in the past, I can do it from a place of compassion and love, or I can do it from ego, where I am better than I was. So now I'm forgiving myself for the past. And what I really want to emphasize on today's journey is that we want to look at forgiveness purely from a place of love, from compassion, from acceptance. And we really want to make sure that when we're looking at forgiveness as an act, that we're ensuring that there's no ego in there and that I'm better today than I was yesterday. And that today I can say I forgive myself because I was not good enough yesterday. And that's not where we want to come from forgiveness. There's actually ego in there. And I noticed that in my work, and I see that my gardeners, I thought they were done. So if I need to go inside, you guys guide me and tell me whether I need to shift and move inside at a moment, because I see that they're pulling out their noisy machines. You guys let me know. I can't know. I can just know what I'm feeling. So I realize that in forgiveness, there can be ego. So today I want to say, we're not coming in from ego. We're coming in from really finding, how do we find the place of compassion and acceptance in our hearts for everything we have done, for anybody we might feel has wronged us, and for any experience, life, the universe. It doesn't matter what we hold. So it also was interesting to me to see, what are we going to see? Who are we going to hold that we need to forgive? Was it going to be a conversation about others or a conversation about ourselves? And sometimes I feel that people hold an anger towards the universe, God, the world, the bigger world. And this one is the big one that we want to release, because ultimately, this is our connection to bigger. This is our connection to movement. This is our connection to the pure alignment everybody is the connection, but we want to make sure that if there is anger and that there needs to be forgiveness in here, that we recognize it today and we free ourselves from it. Naz, good morning to you. And I love that I just said free, because forgiveness is about freedom. I realize that a lot of time when I look for forgiveness in my heart for anything, when I'm looking for forgiveness, it's not for the other person, it's to free me from the resistance, to free me from the anger, from the sadness, from the resentment. It's to free me from the energy that I'm carrying. And I don't really care about them. It's the most selfless act. Forgiveness is the most selfless act. And I see hearts coming out on that one. It is a selfless act. When I forgive, I am forgiving for me. And I am aware that I'm forgiving for me. And there is some stories that I hold in my heart that I have found love towards, but still it's not towards them, although I direct it towards them. It's because I recognize that my happiness, my alignment, my worthiness, my freedom will only be found when I find compassion and love for every story in my life. And so that's what today is about. Today is about compassion, and forgiveness is a word that we all know. Forgiveness is a word that is thrown out there, and it is a tool to guide you towards compassion. Good morning, Pauline from Toronto, Canada, fellow Canadian. I'm actually going to Canada tomorrow. For Naz, it's negative energy, and when we think about revenge, absolutely. That's what I'm glad for, Naz, that you're getting into there. That's what I wanted us to talk about. Okay, what's standing in our way of forgiveness? There, it's starting to go in full range. Karen, hello all. Karen from Ohio. Hello, Karen. So what's standing in your way of forgiveness? Are there stories? Does anybody have specific things that they can right now when you think about that you recognize that you have forgiven in the past, or adding forgiveness or calibrating towards more forgiveness will release you, will free you? Are there specific stories? And what is it that's keeping you from that freedom? Farnaz, when we think about what other persons did, perfect. And that's what I was curious. I was curious about whether it's going to be about what other people did or whether what we did. And I know that I have had to calibrate to forgiveness in my life, in my story, towards myself and towards others. And typically, the more intimate the relationship, and there's nothing more intimate than our relationship with ourselves. Nothing more intimate than our relationship with ourselves. But it's the more intimate the relationship, the more that we really have to go deep inside and dig to find that place of forgiveness. Because revenge, Farnaz says, betrayal. The more intimate the relationship, the more the intensity of the betrayal. And that's where, again, where we talk about the universe and God, a lot of us carry that resentment when bad things happen towards the bigger, and it's because it feels a sense of betrayal from what? From our safety. Pauline says it's about both, but more myself. Fantastic. And what it will free us if we find out where we need to forgive, and whether that means that we're holding a judgment towards ourselves, or holding a judgment towards others, or towards stories, or towards life. Because ultimately forgiveness means a lack of acceptance, means a judgment that something is bad. A judgment that something is bad. And what we want to do is calibrate to everything is okay, everything is perfect, everything is exactly as it's meant to be. Life is unfolding in a way that it's meant to be. Life is unfolding in a way for us to calibrate to truth. And these stories are all here, are mechanisms for us to calibrate to this truth. Valerie, what's standing in the way for me to forgive myself? There's a sense I have to blame myself. Beautiful. We were just talking about judgment. I have to blame myself. I am bad. I am not good. I am not perfect. I messed up. What's your story, Valerie? Everybody, let's get to what our story is today. My story is I am bad and I need to be perfect. That's my story. I tell you guys every session. I am bad. I need to be perfect. That's my story. What's your story, Valerie? And everybody, what's your story? But I see how that's an automatic response. I just feel really bad for making some choices. Beautiful. And that's your worthiness thesis. That's our worthiness thesis. Forgiveness will actually help us get down to our lowest common denominator of what our story is, what our thesis is, what our worthiness story is. So my worthiness story is I am bad, I am stupid, and I need to be perfect. Beautiful. And we keep coming up, and every inspiration, I'll say them again. I'm like, ooh, that's so interesting. We're talking about forgiveness. Got to forgive myself because I'm bad. I'm not smart enough, and I'm not perfect. Interesting. Let's get down to what our thesis is. Betrayal is a tough one, but it's the effect, the inability, trust again. Beautiful. Trust. Forgiveness is about trusting. Trusting others, trusting ourselves, trusting the universe. Trust. So acceptance, trust, freedom. We'll get to it. So forgiveness is actually, it's a flavor. It's almost like, it's a spice of like a lot of the different alignments that we're looking for to ultimately be worthy and be free and be happy. So Pauline, Dito's you, and Farnaz, I think I'm very naive. Beautiful, Farnaz. Actually, that's come out before. Naivety. Beautiful. And naivety has innocence in there and stupidity, and somebody can take advantage of you. I blame myself for not being more savvy. Fantastic. Today will be fantastic if we all come down to the lowest common denominator of our worthiness thesis, our judgment thesis of ourselves, and it starts to become more and more clear, so we could turn around and say, oh, I'm worthy, and I see that story and I know it's a story. Oh, I'm free, and I see that judgment and I know it's just a story. I'm going to calibrate to truth. Today it's about trusting truth, calibrating to truth, understanding truth. How powerful and beautiful if we allow forgiveness to be the conduit for us to find the truth of the ultimate judgments that we hold within ourselves that indicate that we are not good enough, and call it out and see it out and calibrate to our truth. How powerful today will be. How powerful. Valerie, my story right now is the drug use. I can't forgive myself for being addicted. Beautiful. Valerie, let's go deeper. What does that mean? Why can't you forgive yourself? What does it mean? You're weak? Let's get to what it is. What is it? I see that you typed something in there, and trust is also a big one. I feel like I can't trust myself. Fantastic. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper to your worthiness. Are you weak? Are you not strong enough? Are you not perfect? Are you bad? Are you not good? What does it mean that the drug story mean to you? The essence of the drug story. Out of control? Trust and out of control is the same one. Let's get deeper into that, and let's see the rawness and the beauty of that. The beauty of it. We're exposing it to see its beauty and its strength and its empowerment for us. This is not in any way for us to criticize and to judge ourselves. It's to look in the mirror and to see the elephant in the room that has been with us, that we refuse to look at it. And today, forgiveness will give us a conduit to find it, to enter it, to look at it, and to free ourselves from it. Free ourselves from it. Steve, I have to be careful because I express in metaphors. Yes, you do express in quite complexity, imagery, and figurative language. I'm glad that you're actually seeing that. And you're right, because for me, I'm sometimes taking it in and trying to see what is Steve saying. Beautiful. And people take me quite literal, and this is not the case. Fantastic. Great. But let's get to it, Steve. What does that mean? Why do you have to speak in big? What are you hiding from? Hiding from speaking to the rawness of how you actually feel, that you speak and you're hiding behind words? Talk and look behind that. You're dead on. You're right, you're deep, you come up complex, and tell us and look and tell you why. What is it that you don't want to see? What is it you don't want to show? And let's come up and just really come out today. Let's all come out of the closet. Let's come out of our closets. Okay, Gary, It seems like that self-trust is so fragile. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Why is self-trust fragile, Gary? Fragility would means that we don't trust our inner power. Fragility means that we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust the universe. So that's beautiful, beautiful. Where did that come from? Let's dig and see, where did that come from? Where did your self-trust that's so fragile, that you have to depend on others, or you can't depend on others, and that that you're not solidly anchored? I usually think of the trees and think of the nature when we start to think about that. The trees that are rooted into the earth, and the hurricanes and the winds can come, and they are solid, and they are just flowing with the wind and the rain and the thunder and the lightning, but they are grounded and they are solid in that earth. And we are no different than those trees. When we're going to start doing energy work, we actually imagine our feet grounded with the divine earth light. The divine earth light just holding and rooting our feet to the ground. That's one of the visions, imagery that I use when I'm doing my meditations, my work, my grounding, is actually imagining myself rooted to the earth and connected to universal. And I realize that a lot of my meditations, you guys know I don't use this word, are healing, and I'm going to start doing actually empowering meditations. I'm starting to be called towards doing things with more light and more activity, and that I see that we've done a lot of that stuff, and let's start to build our strength and alignment with our inner power and connection with earth and connection with universe. Gary, tell me if that's resonating, and tell me why you don't trust yourself. Do you not trust the universe? Do you not trust yourself? What is it that you don't trust? Fine, let's find it. Today we are going to find, this is so exciting. Tracy, how do you trust after, did you write it after forgiveness? I'm like, okay, she must be in there again. How do you trust after forgiveness? Tracy, how do you trust after forgiveness? I just sort of spoke it to Gary again. We have to decide whether or not we trust ourselves and trust the universe. We have to decide whether or not we're connected to infinite, and that we're connected to nature, and that we are nature, and that life is meant to be good. We need to decide what are our egoic beliefs. What are truly our egoic beliefs? Our physical experiences have moved us away from the egoic truths. This is life. This is life. This is not bad. This is life. And then as we grow, our growth and expansion allows us to calibrate back to truths. So Tracy, it's the game that we're playing. It's the fun that we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're calibrating back to truth by recognizing the journey. We're talking about the journey. We're talking about what it means. We're talking about why it means it. We're talking about what it means to us in our story. And I see Pauline. Thank you, Manal. I feel unempowered. We're going to start us to feel empowered. We're going to go to feeling empoweredness. So this is what we're doing today. Forgiveness is going to calibrate us back to trust. Our human journeys are exactly as they're meant to be. What we have missed out is the understanding, the interpretation of why. And that's the fun and the play we have together. We get to speak in a connected community of love and strength and empowerment, and a language that allows us to look within ourselves, to free ourselves, not to judge ourselves. That's what we're doing together. This is our connection. This is our community. This is our love to turn around and understand conditioning to calibrate us back to truth. And truth is trust, acceptance, worthiness, freedom, love, happiness. List them with me. List them with me. What is it that you're looking for? This is what the truth is. So this is how, Tracy, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. Everything is meant to be. Once we get to the point that we recognize that all of life is as it's meant to be, this is the architecture of it. The architecture. And that our job is the interpretation and the alignment and the feeling of worthiness and freedom and happiness, and the journey towards feeling, as the Sporty Jen says, forgiving my vulnerability, being fearful, embarrassed, ashamed, to blame or blame others. Those feelings are a part of the journey to calibrating to truth. They're not bad. We just need to use them as a tool. And that's what we'll do together. We'll do it together. We'll do it together. Tracy, tell me if I answered you. Forgiving my vulnerability, adult and inner child. So forgiving my vulnerability. So Sporty Jen can then tell me more than Tracy, you said kind of. Sporty Jen wants to forgive her vulnerability as outer and inner child. So you want to forgive yourself for being a child, which is a natural part. We were dependent. We were sponges. Life happened. How do we forgive life? So now what's your judgment on yourself or life? Life is life. Being fearful and embarrassed and ashamed and blaming is all part of life. She still reacts. Well, then she's alive. She's alive. She's alive. When we are reacting, we are alive. These stories are our stories of life. They're the stories of life. These are the stories of truth. These are all our stories. We were abandoned. We were hurt. We were abused. We were shamed. We were death, illness. This is all life. And our reaction to them are humanly normal, particularly our ability to act to them are only in line with the development or where we were, our intelligence, our emotional awareness, and other humans who are also conditioned. So let's stop judging ourselves as bad and the stories as bad and other people as bad and just start to look at them as data points to point us towards freedom, worthiness, and love. They're data points. They're not negative points. Maybe that's the best way to say it. They're data points. They're clues. It's like we're playing a game and all these things happen to help us understand what we're meant to learn to come back to being happy and worthy and free. Yesterday something happened. It's a long story, so I'll go to the emotion of it. And I felt, and it was so innocent. What happened was an absolute innocent story. I did it innocently, absolutely innocently. But when I realized I was doing it, I was full of shame and I hid it instead of coming clean and open. And I usually wouldn't have told anybody even that happened, but I told one of my close friends, I'm really embarrassed to share this with you, but this is what happened. And she laughed. She goes, oh my God, I do that all the time. But I'll own up to it. I'm like, well, why did I have to hide it? Why could I not own up to it? And then I realized, oh, it's one of my journeys that things happen and I'm a victim. That's in quotes. I'm not a victim. I feel like a victim to circumstances and then I shame it and hide it. My friend doesn't have that story, so if that happened to her, it would just be a stupid, innocent mistake. For me, I have other stories on top of it. So yesterday I was like, aha, that's a story I want to calibrate from. That's a story I want freedom from. That's a story I want freedom from. So this is what we're going to do today, is understand the stories that we have that we need freedom from. Okay, so Pauline says, my mistakes overwhelm and knock me down for days and months and years. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. And Pauline feels unempowered. I feel unempowered. So today we are going to feel empowered. We're going to recognize that mistakes are not mistakes. Do you guys like it that we can call them data points? Data points. Calibration, alignment, recognition of where we need to get into balance, clues. What do we want to call them? They're not mistakes. They're life happenings that are teaching us what we need to learn. Something can happen to me and I'll interpret it different than Pauline, different than Gary, different than Tracy, Sporty Jen, and Steve. It means that we're all calibrating and learning different things. That's what we're going to do together, is through a common language of understanding that life is life and recognizing our four bodies, our egoic, our mental, our emotional, our physical body, and sort of being curious. We're going to start to understand what are our stories and see the similarities in others and the differences that make us unique, and to come back to being empowered. We are here to empower each other, to love each other, to recognize the beauty of our life journey, because our life journey is absolutely beautiful and it is meant to be enjoyed. I believe, and I said it lately, I said it recently, I believe there's heaven and hell on this earth. On this earth, heaven and hell. When I read about heaven and hell in any religious books, any religious scripture, I can visualize the heaven here on earth and then see the hell here on earth. It's here on earth. And we can choose and create to live in the heaven. And the first heaven is finding it within. All of the heaven is finding it within. And we have the capacity through the alignment of our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings, and our body. That resonated. That resonated. It's from within. And forgiveness is a tool today for us to recognize the judgments we hold on ourselves. And it's not forgiveness that we're looking for. Forgiveness was just a common language that brought us in to say what we're going to be talking about. It's to look for what is it that we were conditioned to that keeps coming up in our life in different ways. And then starting to accept and love and trust ourselves. Because you know what? We are all amazing. We're amazing. We are built and made to be amazing. 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 Scenario. So Tracy said she's going to still keep listening. I didn't really answer, and I think I may have already said that. Steve, scenario 1. I did nothing. Nothing. Someone else, no responsibility, took no responsibility when what's there to forgive. You're pretty good at interpreting tone. Yeah, you did nothing. You were innocent. You were a baby. Boom, you did nothing. So why do you have to forgive for what they did, is what you're saying. Why do I have to forgive? They did it. I did nothing. I think that's what you're saying. What's there to forgive? Now the question is, if you are neutral, there's nothing to forgive. You're neutral. You did nothing. They all did it. They did it to you. You were just hiding. So there's nothing to forgive. But if there is resistance anywhere in the story, this is where forgiveness is required. It's not required. It will liberate you. Forgiveness is a common human word to mean letting go, compassion, acceptance. It has so many different things. Forgiveness is layered with so many different things. I started off today's preamble saying, what does forgiveness even mean? Because if we don't even know what it means, then we can't even get to it. But to me, forgiveness is compassion, letting go, surrender. Actually, Ho'oponopono. I have a Ho'oponopono course that's coming out soon. Ho'oponopono is the Hawaiian. It's their saying for an act of forgiveness and balance. And Ho'oponopono means, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It's actually my 5 steps. In my course, I talk about Ho'oponopono, and it's becoming aware of how you're feeling. So Steve, if you are feeling resistance about your story that you did nothing and they did everything, you're a victim in there. I did nothing. That means you're a victim. They did it all to me. What's there to forgive? They did it all. I did nothing. I'm innocent. Guess what? There's victim in there. There's removal of your power. There is resistance in there. Become aware of all of that. Acknowledge your deeper meaning. We all want to be free. We all want to be happy. We all want to be worthy. Acknowledge. 3, appreciate. This is the life journey, and this is teaching you something, and it's freeing you, and this is just what life is about. And then let go, surrender. Ho'oponopono. Please forgive me. An awareness of something. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgive them, forgive you, forgive the world, forgive the universe. Thank you. Appreciation of the journey. I love you. That's appreciation. Thank you. Anyway, I love you. I went off. Ho'oponopono. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I am sorry. That's acknowledgement. Please forgive me. You guys, I'm getting so confused. I'm going to stop this, but you sort of got me. Awareness, acknowledgement. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you. And it's got the 4 of them in there, but I'm getting tongue-tied in my mind, so I'm going to stop putting them in alignment, but I think you guys got me. So Steve, tell me how that resonated. Tell me how that resonated. ultimately what you want to do is acknowledge there's a resistance. I'm sorry. There's resistance. You're sorry this happened. You're sorry they did this to you. I'm sorry. You're sorry. It doesn't matter. There is sorry to the experience. Acknowledgement. You want to be free. I want to be free. Please forgive me. I want to be free. Acknowledgement. We want worthiness. We want happiness. We want liberty. Thank you. Appreciate life. Appreciate life. I love you. And there's the surrender. There's the let go. There's the release. Beautiful. Steve, can't. I'm angry at myself. There we go. For being stupid or something dumb. You say shame. I don't know what that means. I am the mistake. That's what it feels like. There we go. There we go. There's the beauty in your story. So there's the forgiveness. And it doesn't need to be forgiveness. First of all, we're acknowledging, we're becoming aware. There it is. You're dumb. You're stupid. You're bad. They did this all to you because you were not good enough. You are not whole. You are the mistake. That's what you need to come to. And that's keeping you from your worthiness. That's the power. That's the power of today's session. That forgiveness came back to you. Say, no, not. First you said it was all them. And now you showed the judgment that their actions brought onto you. That's your conditioning. That's the power of today for us all to recognize this conditioning. And then we're not going to get over, again, time, you know my story with time. I'm not going to say that it is or isn't going to happen. It could shift instantaneously. Or it could be the theme that we continue to live with through life until it becomes less and less flavored and more accepting and flowing and easy and just simple. I was aware how long ago that I'm stupid, and then something happens and I'll say, oh my God, I was so stupid. And in a judgment, in a judgment kind of way. And I'm like, oh, there you go again, Manal. There's this deeply ingrained belief of not being good enough, and that is compromising the truth of my worthiness. But I use it now, and you see it, and I smile. The other day when I did it truly, I smiled at myself, and I'm like, now there you go again. Thought we're done with this game. Thought we're done with this game. So Steve, I think that's powerful that you see now this is the judgment that you're holding on yourself. And now let's keep working with that, that you're a mistake, that you're not good enough, that you were dumb. This is the power. This is the power. This is the power to calibrate back to what? To your full worthiness. Your full worthiness. It's just the human journey. It's just the human journey. You learned young. You were given clues young to help you guide yourself back to the truth of the amazing, amazing person you are. The truth of the beauty of who you are. The truth of the beauty of who you are. Emma, it's hard to forgive someone who continues to violate boundaries that are respectfully and truthfully put forward. I think about my parents who engaged in stalking behavior even years after me trying to go no contact for the sake of peace. Emma, I think that's beautiful. And I really love that you're aware. And I really love that there's a lot of depth in what you're saying. What I want to say to you on the spiritual level, I'm not talking about on the physical, because I know on the physical that you're putting in boundaries. It sounds like that you're leaving them, and it sounds like they're still coming after you and they can't leave you. That there still is an alignment with your inner power that I'd like you to have. There's still something in there that they're continuing to violate boundaries that indicates victim to them. And I know that the physical experience is like that. I want you to go deeper into these spiritual, emotional feelings that you're having. So you talked a bit and you told us about the physical story. Come deeper into how it makes you feel. Go deeper into the feeling of it. And that's how we're going to calibrate. It's almost like Steve first said, I did nothing, they whatever, and then I pushed him, and then he turned around and said, I'm dumb. So you told us the physical story. I want you to go deeper and find out what your emotional story is. Okay? What the emotional story is. Let's go in for this. Gary, I think I'm always judging how I'm viewing things as good or bad. Beautiful, beautiful. You know what my awareness was yesterday? My awareness yesterday was that I'm fighting to be right rather than to be free. There's some certain stories I'm trying to let go of too. And I realized in my meditation that I'm actually trying to prove that I'm good and I'm right, because again, I'm dumb and I'm stupid and I'm trying to be perfect. That energy, that deep rooted energy of wanting to be right is stronger than my desire to be free. And it was a powerful awareness. And so now I'm moving towards, no, it's freedom, not about being right. Because right is external, freedom is internal. So those are the things that I want us all to find together. We want to all find what is that internal calibration that we're looking for. So Gary, maybe things aren't good or bad. Things just are. So when you're trying to see good, bad, right, wrong, white, black, it just is. And maybe you just got to calibrate. No, it's about worthy and it's about freedom. It's about happiness. So what is it guiding you to? Is that good and bad keeping you from worthiness? Like it was for me, it was keeping me from freedom. The right is keeping me from freedom. Is good and bad keeping you from worthiness? I see that this is resonating. Fantastic. I think we've been getting in deep. That I didn't know how to say it in my earlier inspirations when we got the stories. That I'm like, no. I want to find out how this is on these levels. So I know on the physical level, these are our stories. Now let's find them on these levels, because that's where the shift happens. The shift happens is recognizing the emotion, and then we shift the attached negative beliefs, thoughts and beliefs, and then we calibrate to the true empowering beliefs, and then recondition the thoughts, and the emotions follow. So this is what we want to do. This is what we're doing. Pauline says, thank you to something I said earlier. Angela, I think I'm forgiving myself to try and keep regret at bay. Okay, Angela. What does the regret? Is regret freedom then? I'll say the same thing that I just asked Gary. Is regret freedom? Is regret worthiness? Is regret happiness? Regret is... What is the flavor of regret to you? To regret something is, I'm trying to feel it because I don't feel regret often. It's actually not one of the ones that I calibrate to, so I can't speak. Regret is, tell me more about what regret feels. Pain. Doing something wrong, Angela? What's the judgment of regret? That you did something wrong? Forgiving yourself for doing something wrong? Let's get more to that. What regret? Regret that you're not perfect, that you're not good enough. Is that worthiness? I want you to go more into what that regret means. What does that regret truly mean? And everybody else, if you have a regret, that you deal with regret. So let's figure out what regret means. It's actually stumping me. Regret has this feeling of like loss, like could have done more. Worthiness. Fantastic. So now look at your forgiveness is about worthiness. So we think it's regret. It's worthiness. That I'm not worthy. The things that I'm not doing are not, I'm going to say Manal's language is pain, you're saying, could have done more. Good enough. To me, that's always the good enough. Shame. Regret is shame. Beautiful, Hilda. Shame is more something that resonates with me. So regret has a flavor of doing better. So Valerie too, regret that I haven't done better, resonating for me. Fantastic. So you're not good enough. They're not good enough. Fantastic. So Angela, you came around and we got to not good enough. Does that resonate with you, Angela? Which is worthiness. So now that we see very much beautiful, and it looks like it resonated with a lot of us. Regret, living in the past, things we cannot change. Beautiful, not good enough. Worthiness. See how powerful it is that now you see I'm forgiving myself for not being worthy. Guess what? We're all worthy. They're just stories. They're stories that help us recognize that we're worthy. Data points, clues, experiences. Now we can stop taking it so seriously and calibrate to the recognition as like, oh, now I see. These stories are here just to teach me. They're to let me see in ways that life has showed me that actually we think things are external, but actually they're internal. Yvette, I like this regret. Wrong, impatient, wasn't enough. Mistakes again. Beautiful. Pauline, regret that I make mistakes, that I'm stupid, that I was born. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Regret, and I like Fernaz that says that it's living in the past. Regret is in the past. Regret is in the past. It's interesting that I have struggled with regret and resonating with it. But then when we start to get deeper, worthiness, that's easy for me. Not good enough, that's easy enough for me. Mistakes, easy for me, and easy for me. So we all have this like way that we speak and the way that we flavor it differently. You know, it's like the curry, the red curry or the green curry, the Indian curry or the Thai curry or the Filipino curry or whatever it might be. I don't know if they eat curry in the Philippines, but it's just these different slices and the spices come in a bit differently and we flavor it. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. It's our worthiness. It's our freedom. It's our happiness. Beautiful, beautiful. Is it ever too late to apologize, even if not the person, and let go, try going better? Yvette, that's an interesting one. 5 years ago when I was doing my work and all of these things came up in my emotional, I actually apologized and they were sort of surprised and they were like, why are you apologizing? That's all old news and I got over it. Just really depends. What I would suggest is start with just, for me, I like to do everything energetically. For me, I like to do everything egoically, and everybody in the world feels everything. I have one of my meditations and a talk is called, what is your love infused with? Because people love, but they're fearful. I'm doing this because I'm scared. I'm doing this because I want better for you. I'm doing this because there's a judgment. I'm doing this because there's love with angry. So it's like love even has a tinge of something else. But so everybody feels that tinge. So if you find true acceptance and compassion and love for the past, the universe is going to feel it, that person's going to feel it, and things are going to shift. Whether or not you want to turn around and say to that person, I'm sorry and I love you, depends on the relationship. It depends. I would only do it after you're fully calibrated, or if it's required to move towards your calibration because there's an energy between you, but it really is case by case basis, and the only one that knows is you. So if you talk more about it, I can guide you to see what the truth is within you. So if I ask you questions, we could try to figure out whether it's true or not true. So if you want me to ask you questions, I'm happy to do that. But the answer is first do it energetically. First, truly shift to a place of absolute acceptance and love and compassion and care. Let go of any resistance that you have towards that story, towards yourself, towards that place, towards the person, and just try it in different flavors. Enter it from anger and enter it from frustration and enter it from regret and enter it from shame and enter it from worthiness. Come into your body from different layers of emotions, from the different stories, and just see how it feels until you find a way to get into calibration with peace and surrender and acceptance. And then if you're inspired to say, you know what, I've just been doing a lot of work and I just want to tell you I am sorry. And I love you, and I appreciate you, and I know the past is the past, but I just want to let you know that this is how I feel, and that's powerful. If you feel that, you know what, it's moved on and it's better not spoken, but you've actually calibrated, then that's okay. Yvette, tell me if that resonates and how that feels to you. And then I feel like I missed things that we may have said about, Valerie has something in there. Valerie, let me see. Wow, I just realized that I'm conditioned to believe I should be better, and that's why I feel so unworthy. Fantastic. Falling into the trap of addiction. I have to be better. I expect myself to be perfect, and that's also why I feel I deserve to be blamed. Fantastic. Fantastic. Better. What I always call the good enough. Good enough. Good enough. the worthiness, the worthiness. You deserve to be blamed because you could have been better. You could have made better choices. You could have been better. You could have been smarter. You could have made better, whatever it might be. Beautiful. So find that flavor, that beauty of that unworthiness, and just sort of say, oh no, now I know, I'm feel the energy, and let the energy shift. And that, oh, now I realize, is an indication of shifting energy. It is an indication of shifting energy. Fantastic. I see that resonated. I see also, you guys know when the comments are behind how sometimes I'm funny with moving through them. And I see that Emma said something. Emma, it makes me feel like they never cared about who I actually am. Like I was this doll that they could do what they want with. Unprotected as well. Beautiful. So Emma, let's go into that. It's not being seen, not being valued, not feeling safe. Those are really powerful emotions to calibrate to. And it's similar to what Steve is saying. Steve is similar to not being seen, not being safe, not being protected. So come into the guttural, I don't know if that's the right word, but that instinctive feeling of what it's all about. And see, I never felt seen. I never felt cared for. I just felt like I was a plaything, but my emotions, my thoughts, my everything didn't matter. And enjoy that flavor. Enjoy that flavor. Enjoy your recognition that you always felt that it was about them, but now it's actually about you. It was about them stalking you and them, and now you recognize it's about you feeling unheard, unseen, unworthy. Free. Free. Somebody stalking you is free. And come into your reactions, your calibration to the external, and now we're going to calibrate to the internal truth of our freedom, of our worthiness, of our love. This is where the power is. Emma, tell me how that tastes. Tell me how that tastes. And guys, I think I'm caught up. Let me know if I'm not or if I missed anything. Yvette, speaking to my daughter's soul, sent her my apologies. I believe this is the way. Her yes, it does. Beautiful. So it did resonate. Speaking to my daughter's soul, sent her my apologies. I believe that this is the way with her. Yes, it does. Beautiful. 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 And you know, I was at one point also resisting having made mistakes and for somebody blaming me on something. And then one point I realized, you know what? Own it. Maybe I did. Maybe I could have done better, but not from a place of ego, but a place of acceptance. And that I did do my best. And instead of defending that I was great and I did awesome, I actually accepted that maybe I didn't. And that allowed me to let go of resistance. So play with it from different ways. One is accepting yourself, and one is for being good, and one is accepting that maybe I did miss mistakes. But it's all on a intention of letting go of resistance. Speak the truth and release yourself in any way that allows you to release resistance. So if you want to say, yes, I am bad, maybe I am bad, in a way to release resistance, not as judgment, but as acceptance. Go ahead and play that story and see if it releases things. So again, Valerie, yeah, maybe you could have done better. Okay, I could have. Does that release resistance? Or is it just accepting yourself? So sometimes I play with the different things in different ways to see whether or not there's resistance, and then accepting any truths, the positive, the negatives, as truly accepting. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I'm not perfect. Maybe it's okay not to be perfect. I'm always doing the best that I can, and that's good enough. Are you guys with me on that one? Are you with me on that one? I see some of the hearts coming. Beautiful. So play with statements in a way that's non-judgmental, that help you understand if you're carrying judgment. So when I asked, what does regret mean? And then we turned around, that means playing with the past, not good enough, not feeling shame. And then all of us started to feel it in different ways. Then we could all start to relate to it in different ways. And then we could start to just release that judgment we had on ourselves. So that's what I like to do with myself. And that's what I want us, and that's what I keep always trying for us to do. Relate. How does that feel? And then calibrate to truth, acceptance, forgiveness, love. Today's pretty powerful, guys. I didn't expect us to that. Forgiveness would lead us straight into what it truly is. Steve, the shame is unbelievable, and the sense of self, beautiful. You know, you started off saying that you did nothing, and now you're looking within yourself and feeling these feelings, and this is the play. This is the play. This is where the liberty, this is the liberty. This is where it comes from. Tracy, was it you that asked, that says, how do we get to it? This is it. When we say the stories of our past, now we recognize it as shame. The shame is unbelievable. And the sense of self, I can't see myself through their eyes, parents, caregivers, kid stuff, neglect, abandonment. They were there, but they, as people, were not at all. I see myself as victim from 1-year-old, feels icky. Beautiful. Beautiful. And Steve, when your body is ready, you do know that the conduit for letting go of all of these feelings is ultimately forgiving them. You cannot forgive them until you forgive you, and you're also aware of all of the dimensions of emotions that you feel and all of the judgment and stories that you're feeling. So you saying that the shame is the powerful way for you to continue to build the muscle to allow you to release it all. So this is powerful, and this is the journey in. And I know sometimes when we looked at emotion, you're like, this feels horrible, but I don't think this felt, you got to it in a way that you couldn't in the past. So everybody that says, how do we do it? We do it by muscling through it. We're building our muscles. This is an empowerment yogic exercise. We come back every inspiration to turn around and recognize where our limiting beliefs and thoughts and feelings and actions are, and then we calibrate back to truth. We do it through our recognition that these stories are clues, and we're going to muscle. We're going to muscle. And muscle not by efforting, because this isn't effort. I think we're having fun, and I think this is empowering, and I think it's liberating, and I think it's freeing. This is how we do it. We weren't conditioned in a moment, so the unconditioning is going to take the time that's best for its highest good. The unconditioning is just going to uncondition. It starts with awareness, and so every time we become aware and we taste it and see it from a different angle, taste it and see it from a different angle, taste and see it from a different way. And then we see, how does that feel to me emotionally in this way? How does it feel egoically? How does my thoughts feel? Fantastic. We're all doing exactly what we're meant to be. Emma, delicious, like climbing a steep hill for the first time. Beautiful. And then soon you're going to be coasting, and then it goes down. Wow, I have to soak that in. That is a brilliant and new perspective for me. And I can feel the resistance in a good way, if that makes sense. Yes, feeling the resistance in a good way means that you're accepting the resistance. Feeling the resistance in a good way means that you're looking at it, you're feeling it, you're exploring it, you're loving it, you're caring for it, you're seeing it. Just like Steve talks about him being a young boy that wasn't seen, our emotions need to be seen and acknowledged and felt and smelled and tasted. And when we do, then we calibrate to our truth. When we don't, we get angry, we get sick, we get triggered, we get physically ill, we can't sleep, we're stressed, we're anxious. All those things that we talk about on a week-by-week basis. It's because we're not willing. We're willing. We haven't been taught to, conditioned, learned, calibrated, tuned to looking at it as not bad. It just is. It's life. It's conditioning. It's experiences. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And it's perfect, and it's okay, and it's lovely. Wonderful. Good? Okay, Yvette. Yes, perfect. I should have known better to be more patient. There we go. There is the same judgment that we're all having with ourselves. All having ourselves. I should have known better. I should have been smarter. I should have not been dumb. We've said it in so many different ways this session, this inspiration. Thank you. Felt your vibrations here was meant, needed this in this moment. Thank you for sharing, teaching, and empathetic and all. Beautiful. No, thank you. Thank everybody here that's willing to talk and share and feel. To be real. To be real. Let's get real. Let's get real. Let's align with our truth. Let's see the beauty in life. Let's calibrate to beauty and truth and love and happiness, worthiness and freedom. We're all worthy. Forgiveness is about worthiness. And that's why that day I said, hey, just make sure that you don't bring in worthiness from ego. Because when we're all talking about forgiving ourselves because we weren't good enough, because we regret how we acted, because we could have done better, that's ego. We could only, at every moment of our lives, we did as good as we could do. Even if we were angry, even if we were tired, even if we were frustrated, even if it was other people, even if we reacted and acted in the most obscene way. We always did the best that we could do for that moment. So forgiveness, that forgiving that we weren't good enough, it's not that. That forgiveness to me, only when it has a flavor of love, acceptance, care, compassion, recognition of the beauty of me at every moment, recognition that I've always done my best. So I want to use the word forgiveness in only a way that has no judgment and full acceptance of everything in life. So I want us all to take the judgment out of the word forgiveness, or don't use the word forgiveness. Use compassion. You guys, are you with me on that? So what I realized is, by the way that we all talked about what needs to be forgiven, is that we all hold judgment towards ourselves. And the difference between forgiveness and compassion is the judgment that's held in forgiveness. So forgiveness makes us let go of judgment. But if we're using forgiveness in a way to have ego and judgment, shift to compassion. Shift to compassion. How's that feel, guys? How's that feel? Steve, that always confused me. Forgive me. I didn't do anything. I don't get it. What am I forgiving myself for? Can't figure out in that mind. Okay, then Steve, I just went on a rant about forgiveness. Then don't forgive. Forgive does have that judgment, and you have no judgment on yourself. But that little boy needs love, compassion, acceptance, care. That little boy needs to forgive what happened to him. Maybe not forgive who did it to him, but forgive the circumstances of his life. Because there is judgment that you hold that things were wrong. So I don't care what word you want to use, but there is a huge amount of love that needs to be infused in the story of your early days. Love. And forgiveness is the wrong word for what I just said. Forgiveness has judgment. There's nothing you did wrong. But you're withholding love to your whole early days because things were wrong and felt bad. You are withholding love towards your life story. And that's what we want to get out. And that's what we want to get out for every single one of us. When we're withholding love for any experience. And I see that this is resonating with all the hearts. Gary, I don't know why, but I'm feeling very triggered. Okay, let's get to the why. Where are you feeling it? What is making you feel triggered? Let's get to it. What is it that what's brewing inside of you? There's a truth that wants to come out. Let's get to it, Gary. And I'm glad that you're saying this, and I'm glad that you're feeling it. Because today I want us to clean up shop of letting go of judgments that we hold. I'm done. I'm done with us judging our pasts, judging our stories, judging our lives as bad. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I want us to hold it from compassion and from love. So Gary, talk. What is it that you're feeling triggered about? What's going on? How are you feeling? What is it that I was saying? It was 6 minutes ago. I just saw it now. What was I saying that was making you waking up feelings and waking up something that wanted to come out? A judgment that you're holding or that somebody's holding. Let's talk to it. Let's talk to it. Yvette is running. Make it a beautiful day. May you all have love and peaceful and love yourselves. Namaste. Thank you, Yvette, and I'm so glad that you are here. Gary, I'm waiting to hear from you. How is everybody else feeling? How is everybody feeling? I feel like today was really raw. Feels like fear. Okay, beautiful, Gary. Feels like fear. And everybody go into how you're feeling right now, because I do feel a sense of extra energy in the room, that less empowered, but more electric. There is electricity. So let's go into our bodies. Okay, everybody, let's go into our bodies. Gary, and everybody, whoever wants to speak to the window when you feel into it, go for it. So Gary, feel the fear and see where this fear is coming from. See if you find a story, fear if there's a judgment, and see where it's going into. But this room is electric and we're going to shift it right now. I'm learning if it's pulling an alarm inside me and I'm feeling an emotional reaction, then this is my opportunity to dissect it and give it less power. SportyJan.on. It is an emotion triggered from the past, not the present. I'm okay, and then comfort my child. Happened to me last week, and I felt a shift on how to deal with it. That's beautiful, Sporty Jen. That's what it's all about. These intensities of feelings are all things that are conditioned from the past. And we buried it and buried it and buried it, and we didn't see it. So we gave it power, and then it built and built and built. Until we start to say, hey, I'm going to look at you. I'm going to feel you. I'm going to taste you. I'm going to acknowledge you. And then we disempower it, and we empower ourselves to being aware. We empower our bodies. We empower our emotions, our thoughts, our beliefs. Valerie, today's inspiration has been powerful. I feel certain clarity, but also still judgments. Beautiful. Pull them out and just look at them. Just pluck them like apples off of a tree. Gary, I think it's because I know I'm feeling not good enough. Fantastic. If you are able to, without getting further triggered, without indulging in it, feel how fearful it is for you to acknowledge not feeling good enough. It's a powerful moment. It's a powerful moment. Today has been so powerful. Valerie, judgments make me feel sad. I want us all to turn it around. I get excited now when I start to have some sort of reaction and start to recognize it's about my worthiness. It's about this story. And it empowers me because the reactions are going to happen. We're human. We are going to feel we are human. We're going to react. We are human. Good. Gary, it hurts. Tell me where it hurts. Is it physical pain? It's hurting because you buried it a long time. The fact that it came from fear, which is good, it wasn't anxiety. You didn't say anxiety. You went straight to fear. So you've said fear, and then you realize you're not good enough, and it hurts. See where it feels. See where it feels. Fear, where in your body do you feel? This is fantastic. And Steve, I'm waiting to hear from you what you're going to call it if you don't want to call it forgiveness. What you can give towards your early days. Valerie, if you want to see what judgments, you want to list out the judgments and where it makes you feel sad. And why sad? Why sad? Why sad? Loss. What is the sadness? Let's get to what the sadness is. What do you feel that's lost? Your mind and your heart. Fantastic, Gary. Fantastic. So everybody feel into your mind and feel into your heart. I'm actually, well, let's time out for a second and let's go into our bodies, because there is a lot of electricity in this room. I want everybody to go into your bodies. Start with the three, let's take 3 little breaths. Not little, big ones. Take a deep breath in. And release. Valerie, I saw your comment about feeling sadness around your heart. We're going to do this now with the meditation. Everybody's feeling a lot of energy, so we're going to move it right now. Because I realized once again how hard I am on myself. Beautiful. Okay, Gary's definitely present. So everybody take a second deep breath in. Indulge in the gap. And release. And everybody take a third deep breath in. And release. So everybody just become aware of your body. Today was intensely powerful as we recognized that the greatest opportunity for forgiveness is the judgment we hold over ourselves and our experiences, and that we may project them onto other people, but ultimately that projection is a story of the judgment that we hold upon ourselves. And regardless of that judgment, how awful we are, how bad we are, how imperfect we are, how we could have done better, we are just amazing. We are worthy. We are purpose, we are free, and we are love, and we know the truth of that. But our bodies are sharing with us clues from the past. So everybody just, in that context, just feel into your body. Gary's mind and heart. Valerie felt sadness around her heart. But just feel into your body. For me, it's my jaw. My jaw feels tense. That's where I usually carry it during these inspirations. Feel into your body. And feel the energy as a positive experience, because we're in a safe setting right now. We're being vulnerable intentionally. We're purposely exploring conditioning to free ourselves from it. So our bodies are responding by sharing with us. Our bodies are responding in a way that's consistent with our intention. So everything that you feel in your body, be present with it. Appreciate that it's here for you. Explore your body. If it's localized to a certain spot, like I said, jaw, heart, mind, shoulders, abdomen, pelvic area, legs, doesn't matter, go into it. If it's all over judgment of yourself, just go around and just see yourself as a whole and just sort of feel into that judgment and that resistance as a layer. Sort of float around the resistance. Just truly be present with all of these sensations. So now I'm floating around my jaw and I just sort of feel the tightness. And I can sort of feel some numbness, and I can feel that the energy isn't moving. And I just feel the rigidity of it. Sort of feel the physical sensations with interest. It's not bad. We've been conditioned to not enjoy these physical sensations, but they are here to show us and point us towards our truth. So feel the energy, feel the physical sensations. Ask it what it wants you to know. Some of us already had major insights. And for the majority of us, it seems to be worthiness. 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 That our desire towards forgiveness is an indication of our lack of worthiness. Sort of look and explore and feel and love. Ask it what it wants you to know. Recognize the strength in your body, in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your beliefs. Recognize the beauty of the human journey. Conditioning. That conditioning is start to be a positive word for you. It's a game, celebration, an exploration, an excitement towards understanding and calibrating to truth, the truth of your beauty, the truth of your worthiness, your purpose, your freedom, your love. Trusting the beauty of this amazing world, life. Just love on the energy, love on the experience, love on today's session, today's inspiration, where we can just talk truths in a new language that is here to empower us. It is time for us to be empowered. And at this point, if you can feel that energy shifting, or if you want to just let it go physically, shaking it off, physically taking it off and throwing it back to the light, everything back to the light. You want to take a deep breath in and just release it back to the light, back to the light, back to the light. Start to feel your body getting lighter and your body tingling. Release every resistance and any resistance that you connected with. Recognize that life is amazing, it's beautiful. Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It's all about love. It's all about love. Life is about calibrating to life. Love, and every experience that we have had is here to guide us towards how to find truth within ourselves. The external world is pointing us to the internal self. And the more extreme our external conditioning is just an indication of this internal calibration that we're all here for in life. There's an amazing energy and light and vibration and experiences for us all. It's a beautiful, powerful world and life that we're living. So I'm going to give you a minute to sort of feel into anything that your body wants you to know. And I'm going to count to 5 for everybody just to open up your eyes and just come back and share. I'm starting to feel that the room is lighter, and if there's any particular energy that you still find, just go again, swim through it, explore it, taste it, feel it, see it, love it, acknowledge it, care for it, smell it, hear it. All your senses, get all your senses alive with the resistance. It's a gift, it's a tool, it's a calibrator. It's beautiful. Just love it and let it go. Let it go. Back to the light. Back to the light. Everything can go back to the light. Everything can go back to the light. We are light. Let everything that is not allowing your light to flow just go back to the light. Beautiful. I'm going to count to 5 and everybody open up your eyes and join us again in 3, 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes and join the room. 4, 5. Beautiful. Now, everybody, if you cannot feel a shift in this room, isn't it incredible, the difference between how we felt before and how we felt later? It's amazing how long I let the electricity, but I think it needed to build up. I think it really needed to build up for us to let it go. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Steve, I see that you shared, it's like a war I never fought, them and us and me in my mind or something that I never had to think about. You love people or you think you're supposed to, and then they make enemies out of themselves. One place is hard shot, another is not knowing how literally vulnerable it is. Steve, fantastic. I think that's beautiful, but I want you to tell me still, what is it that the energy that you can hold towards your past? What's the best you can do today? What energy? I didn't like forgiveness and you didn't like forgiveness either. What's the energy that you can hold towards the past? Whether it's towards you, whether it's towards a story, whether it's towards your family, you decide. But tell me, what is it? Answer all of these. What is the energy that you can hold towards yourself? What is it you can hold towards your experience? And what is it that you can hold towards your family? Give me those 3. Gary, the best, the highest vibration that you can truly calibrate to today. I'm waiting for you on that, Steve. Gary, I know what the cause of the judgment and fear is now. I've been in denial, I think. I believe it and I know what the root is. Fantastic, powerful, beautiful. I'd rather only discuss it with you if possible. Absolutely, if not something I've done. Fantastic, fantastic. I think that's beautiful. I think that I loved the flavor of fear that brought you to this. So I want everybody to see any emotion that we're feeling, particularly in such intensity, is showing us a truth that we're keeping ourselves from. So Gary, absolutely. And I also want you to say, when you only want to speak in a certain way, there's shame in there. So I want you to feel the flavor of shame. Feel the flavor of shame. I told you yesterday I had an incident where I felt so much shame, and I can't even believe I told my girlfriend, and she laughed at me and she's like, Manal, all you had to do was X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh. And it's that shame. So fantastic. Feel it, and I'm happy for you to share with me later on, but I'm so happy. How do you feel now, Gary? Have you shifted? So you were the one that calibrated or guided us towards letting go of energy because of the intensity of what you were feeling. Have you shifted? Did it allow you to shift? Ashley, oh my gosh, I most definitely needed this. I feel like I have so much hacked up anger that resets every morning to the same, like conditioning, mainly past relationships, must forgive. I also feel I'm late, sorry. No worries. Okay, fantastic. So look at that. And what we want to do, chung, 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 is muscle to waking up to acceptance. Muscling up to feeling good. Waking up to feeling happy. Waking up to feeling at peace. whatever it is. How does everybody want to wake up? How does everybody want to wake up? The other day I woke up and actually I was feeling, oh, my whole body was on fire. And then my thoughts were going, and all things that I don't think about. Because usually I wake up and I feel great and I do my thing and I do everything. And then my mind was just going. And so then it's the first time that I stopped and I said, oh. And you guys know I always talk about what came first, the emotions or the thoughts. What came first, the emotion and the thoughts. Well, I realized that day, it was the first time that I really, I guess it's not the first time, but I was very aware of how it actually was my body forming the thoughts. And the way I stopped the thoughts, and in the past I used to try to effort to stop the thoughts. This is not the first time that my body and my mind were in harmony, just going phoom. But usually I tried to stop the thoughts. This was the first time that I didn't try to stop the thoughts, but I actually went and just felt my body. I said, oh, it's actually the thoughts reacting to my body. I'm just gonna sit with my body. And I just sat with my body and just enjoyed. I didn't really enjoy it, but just felt its aliveness and its lack of calibration to comfort. It was just uncomfortable and it was just not flowing. And I just felt it. And actually, when I just started to become aware of the body, the thought stopped. And that brought me more comfort. And then I started to become more comfortable. So it really is about becoming aware. And sometimes it's our body before our mind. And sometimes it's our mind with our body, and it doesn't really matter. What matters is finding that connection and going in from the best angle that will really bring you the lowest resistance for that moment. That it allows you to let go of the resistance. Good? Good? Was that helpful? Valerie, this was so good. I released some of the sadness and I felt in my heart that I'm calibrating to worthiness and I'm doing the best that I can at all times. Fantastic, Valerie. I just want us all to find love for every aspect of our past. That's when we're free. Today should have been called Finding Love for All Aspects of Our Past rather than focusing or calibrating to forgiveness. Should have been finding love for all of our past. Finding love for all of our past. Finding love for every action that we have performed and an action that has been performed to us. It's about finding love. And this word, forgiveness, it's not my favorite. We'll keep using it because it means something strong. And it's not as bad as triggered and healing that I don't like as much. But it's not my favorite word. Forgiveness. So much judgment. We found so much judgment in it today. So much judgment. But it was good because it helped us find the judgment. Gary says, yes, he's shifted. Fantastic. It helped him find the judgment. So forgiveness was fantastic because it helped us find the judgment. But it's not a energy that I feel like I want us to continue to muscle. I really want us to find compassion, love, care, acceptance. And if we want to forgive, because sometimes we need to, we recognize that we're going to forgiveness because we can't get to love. That we do need to have some of the judgment in there on ourselves and others. And that's why we're using forgiveness. And if that's the best we can do, it's okay. There's aspects and stories in my life that I still use the word forgiveness. But I want us to recognize that forgiveness indicates that there is judgment. Boy, is that bad? No, it's truth. Awareness. Good, good, good. Steve, to the energy. No, too much trauma. Family, F them. I think that's what it says. I'm pretty sure. To the story, yes. Breathing very hard, a lot of anger. Just expressing. I get hot when I see other people are being messed up with. Beautiful. So, perfect. So there's a lot of anger still to the family. To the story, anger, fantastic. Now, what about the child? What about the child? How is the energy you could shift towards the child? And what I want to see, Steve, is us to continue to calibrate. So first, and ultimately, we want to go towards freeing yourself fully. And remember at the beginning, I said forgiveness is a selfish act. Forgiveness is so we can let go of resistance and be free. But I'm not going to ask anybody to let go of resistance of things that they're not ready to. So Steve, towards the little boy, what is the energy you can hold? Gary, I think my problem started 23 years ago and I'm willing to share if we have time. Go for it, Gary. I'll make it as short as possible. Beautiful. Go for it. Put it in the window. Go for it. And I'm glad that you're able to say it here, because part of the healing is the ability to let go of that shame. And there's nothing wrong. This is your story. This has happened 23 years ago. 23 years ago. 23 years ago. There should be no shame to any of our past. Do I have some things that I still hold in shame? Heck yeah. Yes, we're human. But being aware of it and having the safe spots for it and letting go of it, it's all part of our journey. So it's fantastic. So fantastic. So, Steve, I know that you're not willing on the family. And I know that the experience is a bit less. But how about to the little boy? I want to see what you're willing to hold towards the little boy. Wow, guys, today is intense. How is everybody else feeling? As Gary is writing his story in the window, how is everybody feeling? My jaw is feeling much better. To me, it's amazing how every time we come in and we do the body, and I'm like, okay, guys, it's in my jaw, it's in my jaw, it's in my jaw. It actually fascinates me. Today is intense, but incredible. Good, Valerie. I see that there was a lot of growth for you today and a lot of awareness and letting go of the truth of what it is, the judgment of your worthiness. And this is where ultimately the healing is, and the sustainability in being aligned with your truth and things being easy and flowing. It's flowing when we realize, oh, it's my worthiness. Oh, it's my worthiness. Oh, there we go. That's my humanness, my human again, questioning my worthiness. Oh, there we go. That's fine. That's fine. I know I'm beautiful. I know I'm worthy. I know I'm amazing. Elena, yes, these will all be published on InsightTimer as a talk very soon. I have a whole host of the last ones that are going to be uploaded. And I've created almost the system. I sound like a broken record with this, but I've got it. And also on YouTube, they're all on there as well. But yes, I record them all and you could have them. And I'm glad that you're asking. And there's a few of the other. Intuitive eating is up, and also manifesting the life that you want is also up on InsightTimer as well. Beautiful. Sporty Jen, I feel relatively calm today. I'm aware of some anxiety in my tummy, but less reactive. Beautiful. We all are work in progress. We're play in progress. This is all, again, you guys know it, the human journey. This is normal. This is what life is. This is the beauty of life. This is the beauty of the unfolding of life. This is the architecture of life. This is the design. We were designed to take it all in, to absorb it, and to live it, and then to grow and expand from it. It's the human design. What happened to us X number of years ago, Y number of years ago, Z number of years ago, mostly wasn't in our control. It was our destiny. So there had to be meaning to it. There had to be. And the meaning is the beauty of our growth and expansion, our stories, our lives, the unfolding of the beauty of who we are. It's amazing, and it's perfect, and it's beautiful, and it's fun. And together in this wonderful community that we're creating, we're going to grow and calibrate and feel the truth, the beauty, the alignment, allowing, the flow, all of the amazing things that life is about, being present. And how can you be present? You can only be present when you accept and you're aware and you're seeing all of your bodies for what they are. Gary, you would never know it by looking at me. I work out daily. I am big, strong, and supposedly handsome, and I have had brain surgery, which has been amazing. I'm not anyone ventured to guess the problem. Gary, now you're getting us to guess? Go for it. Tell us. Obviously, when you were younger, there was compromise to your strength and brain surgery. Parkinson's. Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. So it's the Parkinson's, but was that 23 years ago or now? So the shame you're holding towards now you have me confused. Now you have, tell us more, Gary. Is it now diagnosis, but you said it was 23 years ago? Or was it taken out 23 years ago? And what is it that what you have now? Give us more insight. Steve, I didn't even know what I needed. There was no love, and I didn't know that at all. Very painful to exist and almost non-living. I really have to watch my words. Beautiful. What I need, Steve, is again, what are you willing to give that little boy now? What are you willing to give that boy now? We have in the present the now. What are you willing to give the boy now? And Gary, talk to me, talking to me. Parkinson's is usually something that's given now, but you said it was 23 years ago. So help me. And Sally, I don't know what AVM means. You guys are leaving me confused at the last end of today's session. Oh my goodness. AVM. Sally, should I know what AVM is? So I'm waiting for all Steve, Sally, and Gary. I'm waiting for Steve, Sally, and Gary. Gary, I was diagnosed 23 years ago, and most people would be able to tell, fantastic. So you're living with a secret. You're living with a secret. You're living with a diagnosis that is creating instability, fear, lack of worthiness, freedom in your life. You have something that has a trauma. Boom. Oh, that was your guess, Sally. I got you now. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So what is it? So talk now then. How do you feel now? Do you feel free that you're sharing it with us? Do you feel a sense of power with who you are and the truth of who you are? Did that diagnosis of Parkinson actually give you another life and the appreciation of the life that you have now? I've stayed away from love because of it. Beautiful. And did it also give you life? I feel like it gave you strength from the things that you're saying. Fantastic, fantastic. Gary, there's something so big here. Go into it. What is it? You stayed away from love of it. And what are you no longer, you can't trust life? You can't trust yourself? You said that earlier today. Is it trust then? There's no security in you and life? I think that's what you started off saying today. So powerful. Today is so powerful. Sally, yeah, she did say a diagnosis. Messed up arteries in the brain. So Sally was closest to what you were saying, Gary. And Valerie agreed. Gary is so brave to share it with us all. Sporty Jen is giving Steve's little boy a gentle hug. And I'm sending Steve, your little boy, a hug too. It's tricky because of the trauma. Hitting. All I see is the hitting, like I'm doing it to that little boy I speak of. Steve, how can we get to sending that boy love? You only can guide me. How can we go to sending that boy love from you today? And Gary, I want to know what you're ready for now. I'm pretty sure it was you. I'm almost 95% you that said that you didn't trust. And that's when we talked about being connected and anchored like trees to the ground. Are you willing to start to trust yourself and trust life and trust that any of us can go at any time, and that when you stay away from love, you're staying away from your own self-love and you're shielding us. We have coming up in the next few weeks, I don't remember when it is, I think it's the next one. It's about creating the fortress around your heart, which is a form of protection, a coping mechanism. So let's not wait for that one for you to recognize that there's something that's protecting you from love. This is so beautiful, Gary, so beautiful. And Valerie, yes, Steve, your inner child deserves that love and support. I'm also sending hugs. Gary, I golfed to a 2 handicap, but what happens in the future? That's, nobody knows what happens in the future. Gary, nobody knows what happens in the future. Nobody knows. Were you here for our talk about death? And talking about alone? Nobody knows. And you have 23 years ago an experience that allowed you to calibrating to distrusting the future. That's powerful. And all of your evidence right now points to a strong and solid future. And nobody knows when anybody is going to go. Nobody knows when life is going to end for any of us. And I'm logicking. I would love to know how you put that on a lovely woman. Let's forget relationship now. It's about letting love in to you, for you, and for you to be worthy of love. It's about worthiness. It's about worthiness. I know that in life, many people will have preferred to have than not have. And any woman, whether or not she has a diagnosis of anything, could go before any man. So that's again logicking. But what I think you've identified is this huge element of worthiness. You have Parkinson's and you are not worthy of love. You are not worthy of knowing what your life future is going to look like, despite what your life looks like right now. It's hard. It is hard. It is hard. And you know, I don't like using that word. I am not going to negate it's hard. But the bigger the lesson that we have, and I've said that to Sporty Jen about her stories, and I've said it about Steve and his stories. I've said it about a lot of people. I know that someone's come in and talked about being amputated 2 limbs. All of these stories, yes, it's hard. There are hard stories that force us to go in and to recognize that I'm worthy regardless of diagnosis. And I'm not trying to logic you. You know I'm not going to effort you and logic you. But I just want you to see, whoop, it's your worthiness. Is it a hard one? Yeah. Are there some stupid people that will not want to invest in a relationship because of some sort of diagnosis? Absolutely. Are those the people that I would want to be with? Absolutely not. Feeling unworthy and lack of certainty. And that, Gary, is the gift. That is the gift. The others are stories. Whether or not a woman will come, whether or not you can get one or whatever, those are all stories. But the feeling of unworthy and the lack of certainty is what you want to get to. There we go. That's it. I'm unworthy because I have a diagnosis 23 years ago. And then again, you know the play. Do you egoically believe that you're worthy? Do you egoically believe that you're worthy? And this is for all of us. This is exactly how we do it. Gary has just demonstrated how you take it from the physical to the emotional to the mental and now to the egoic level. This is how we do it for all the stories. And some of them are this hard and some of them are not. Some of them are I fell down the other day when I was hiking and I hurt my ankle and blah, blah, blah. Or I got into a fight with somebody and they hung up or whatever. Or is it somebody honked me on my way to whatever. Some of them are dumb stories that still indicate unworthiness and lack of certainty. And sometimes there's big, huge stories. So Gary and everybody, egoically. So right now you have a physical diagnosis that despite your physical showing up in a very strong and healthy way, a diagnosis that has caused you to feel unworthy and a lack of certainty in your future. Everybody has the same lack of certainty, just so you know. You have a data point that gives you an element of being more lack, but everybody has the same lack, in my opinion. But it doesn't matter. My question now to you, Gary, goes is egoically. How do you feel egoically? How do you feel egoically? And I'm not coming at you emotionally because you already did the emotional work earlier. You already said the fear. You already said all of these things. So the reason usually we'd have to go at it emotionally, Gary already dealt with the, actually he's talking about right now, the fear of unworthiness, but you actually said, I keep myself in great shape and my health is great and it's not life-threatening. Fantastic. Fantastic. So I'm going to ask you again. And the reason I'm not everybody, usually I would talk emotionally, but Gary already in the beginning entered this through his fear. He said, I'm feeling super fearful now. So he already shifted the emotion. So now we can actually speak more logically. Usually I would be saying, well, what does that make you feel like? And he would say, well, I feel fearful. The reason we aren't doing that is because Gary already did that before, and now he's gotten to the understanding. Okay, I want to make that really clear because the shift always happens emotionally, and Gary said he's already shifting, but now he's taking that extra strength to share with us, to give to me a greater strength to his awareness. Greater strength to his awareness by sharing in community. And freeing himself from the story. So Gary and everybody, what are the egoic beliefs about your worthiness and about trust and about clarity? Can we calibrate to those? Steve's going to draw a picture. I'm going to draw a picture. I have to do this depictorially, energetically as the tool. Can't express here. Because there's a consciousness, an unawareness that wasn't there at the time. I'll try to feel through the picture. Hope you understand that. I still think that you're not answering my question, Steve. Today, we are here. You are here. We're all here. And tell me if you think I'm pushing you and we can do it another day. What is the energy that you can feel towards that boy? The story. You said it wasn't forgiveness. Can it be care? Can it be neutral? It can be anger. It doesn't matter. It could still be, it's a mistake. It doesn't even matter if it's a resistant emotion or positive emotion, but I want us to continue to find a way to continue to calibrate to a higher and higher level. So you see your boy, what is it that you can calibrate to today towards that boy? Two of my best friends, Gary, two of my best friends died of heart attacks in the last year, and one has terminal cancer. I'm so thankful that's not me. Beautiful, Gary. Beautiful. Gary, I think that you calibrated to a beautiful, powerful awareness today that you are not worthy because of a diagnosis. And everything that you're telling me on all the data points is that your life is different physically. So now it's a thought. So I want you to tell me what your beliefs are. Is it a belief or a thought? That you're not, your worthiness, your lack of worthiness is a thought. What's your belief? And what's your belief with the universe? And what's your belief with your inner power? Gary, I feel naked now. Beautiful. That's usually how my expression that I actually, when I expose myself to, is about feeling naked as well. So I want to build you back up, Gary. I'm looking to build you back up. What is your Do you want to feel naked for a second? And everybody that can relate to that, of feeling exposed and vulnerable, it's the way I expose it too. I usually will say I didn't have my bra on as one of the ways that for me that I feel like really vulnerable. So just feel that, Gary, for a second. So your emotions came out. That's beautiful. A vulnerability, an exposure. And everybody that can relate to that feeling. Just enjoy that feeling for a second. Let's not go through that too quickly. Everybody relate. See if you can relate to that. Okay, Steve, I'm happy. Help. That's the only word that comes out. Not bad, not good. It's just a matter of fact. That's just the word that comes out, but I've never said that. That's what I hear. Fantastic, Steve. I think that's a good place. That's a good place for us to calibrate to today. It's sort of neutral. Help. That baby needs help. When somebody needs help, what do we do? When somebody needs help, what do we do? Sporty Jen is relating to Gary. Yes, being in the spotlight, nowhere to hide. Beautiful. Gary, thoughts are the problems, probably beliefs too. Yeah, I want to get to the beliefs. And everybody, if you want to help, I'm going to start saying beliefs too. Gary, do you believe that we're all unconditionally worthy? I know your thought. And many people would agree with you. Oh man, that man's a risk now. But you just talked about 2 friends that died. 2 died of heart attacks and 1 has terminal cancer, okay? So we're all unconditionally. So Gary says yes. So we're all unconditionally worthy. So now, Gary, I want you to recognize the resistance is occurring here. The belief is that you're worthy. Do you believe in trusting the universe? Everybody, do you believe? I want everybody to play this. Everybody, do you all believe you're unconditionally worthy? Do we all believe we're unconditionally free? Do we all believe that we're unconditionally loved? I want everybody with your hearts and with your words. Yes, says Gary, and yes, says Valerie. I want to see with hearts and I want to see with words. If we all believe purpose, there we go. Here are the hearts. We are purpose. We are worthy. We are love. We are freedom. Beautiful. Elena, yes. Steve, foreign language to me. The belief, Steve, not the thoughts, the belief. Can you fall into any belief then, Steve, that your vibration or your love? Steve, come with me with a belief that you can come to. Sovereign, Sally, beautiful. Pauline, nope. Tell me nope about which one. Okay, Steve says yes, we're light or vibration. Beautiful. Pauline, can you go to that one? Yes, Gary, beautiful. What we're looking at is the resistance. When we can recognize that this is our belief, just sort of like E equals MC squared, and any of the truths of the existence of the universe. And then we say, oh, here's the resistance. Here's the resistance. Here's the struggle. Here's the resistance. That's the journey. That's the journey. So I got agreement to we are vibration and we are love. So vibration and love are all equal. It can't be made, it can't be destroyed. It's equal. It's equal. So we're at least equal. So some can say we're worthy, we're free, we're love. Some say no, we're just light and vibration. But even with light and vibration, there's no judgment to light and vibration. So if you believe we're love and vibration, we have to recognize that anything here resistance is just resistance, because there is no resistance in life and emotion. So Steve, you've got now an awareness that the muscle you get to work on is that the thoughts are contradicting the beliefs, and the beliefs trump. And you look at every emotion and every journey that takes you there. And Steve is saying the same thing. So Steve and Gary, both of you are coming. A lot of times at the end of our inspiration, Steve and Gary are come to the same place. Steve, it'll hurt me. That's the thought. So there's thoughts that are coming and contradicting our truths. Sporty Jen, yes, 90%, but I keep 10% skeptical. Fundamentally, it does boil down to feeling unworthy. Beautiful. Feeling unworthy. That's exactly what I want us to find. I want us to recognize we believe we're worthy, but our thoughts and our emotions, and those are part of the natural unfolding of life to help us calibrate to truth. That's it. That's it. Gary, I think there's some big awarenesses. Anxiety does build up horribly. And Gary, anxiety, you know, anxiety is a fear that I'm not willing to acknowledge. And now we see it. It's the fear of your health. It's the fear. You got the diagnosis one day. You don't even know that you're living with it because the life you're living doesn't have it. But that one day shifted your whole approach to life because you looked riskier and you couldn't trust yourself in life anymore. But you're still here and you're strong and you're connected and you're true and you're purposeful and you're love and you're powerful. I know we're talking about heavy things, but the energy feels really good. How is everybody feeling? Gary, how are you feeling? And Steve, how are you feeling? I see the hearts in. There's a really strong energy of truth and beauty of life that I feel right now. Does everybody feel it? An aliveness. Gary, our bodies are a miracle. And there's a saying sometimes like arguing for your limitations. And I know it doesn't come in from the logic. It doesn't come from the logic, but I want you to sit with your fear. I want you to sit with the awareness of your lack of worthiness. I want you to sit with the feeling of lack of trust for the universe. And then coming back and deciding, what are your truths? What are your truths? Our bodies are a miracle. I think we are a miracle. I think life is amazing. And you're calibrating to showing that truth. You are a miracle. We are all miracles. And so now, what more do you need to start to decide to calibrate to your worthiness? And even if you had signs of Parkinson's in the life that you're living, you're still worthy. Even if they're physical. One of my dear friends has MS. I adore her. She's a representative and she does a lot of things. You wouldn't know if you see her. You would not know it if you see her. She has this true zeal and love for life. She goes and gets on her Peloton and does it for hours. She does her walks and her runs. She lives a really active, amazing life. And she is a really strong advocate for MS. So she lives life from a place of, I'm going to live life. And she's in a really strong relationship. And that relationship started after her MS diagnosis, actually. Pretty sure. I'd say 99.9% sure that was after her MS diagnosis. So there you go. But again, I'm not trying to logic, but I am putting in facts. I've been dumping tears the whole time, even before I told you. Gary, fantastic. I feel the shift in you. I feel like you're sharing to share, but I don't feel like there's emotional work for us to do. That's what I feel. Steve, that's true. I have been told that truth in my life, except for my doctor, and that's what got me in trouble, almost dead, the truth. No kidding, not making it up. No pity. I know I'm aware, tons of people experience this. Fantastic, Steve. Steve, want to sit with today that the boy needs help, and that help means love. Gary, my hands and legs work fantastic. Gary, I think your whole self works fantastic. I think the whole self. And you don't need to tell me you're worthy. I already feel and see your worthiness. I want you to calibrate to your unconditional love. unconditional worthiness, and unconditional freedom. The world has demonstrated to it, you to it. I see it. Now I want you to feel it. My audio is out. My audio is out. Can everybody hear me? Steve says the audio's out. Not for you, Valerie. Okay, fantastic. Okay, good. Not for you. Fantastic, Ray. Fantastic. Good. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay. Sporty Jen, Elena, Maureen, Steve, it's you. It's you. It's you, Steve. Fantastic. So, Gary, I think you have a lot of work to continue to feel in, but the awarenesses are all there. The awareness is all there. And you're worthy. You are worthy. We are all worthy. Whether or not we have it, whether or not we're feeling it, whether or not we're doing it, it doesn't really matter. It's all about us aligning with the beauty of our internal. The unconditionality and the eternal nature of our internal. The eternal nature, that's a tongue twister for me. The eternal nature of our internal self. Gary, I have no memory issues, but I'm only 52. Sometimes I feel like I have memory issues. So, and sometimes it makes me fearful. And I'm like, nope, Manal, don't go there and don't play that. So, oops, 53, he says. So there we go. There we go. We all have our fears. We all have our lack of worthiness, but you have some powerful insights, Gary, powerful insights to play with. Powerful insights. I think we have all done a lot. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, how is everybody feeling? How is everybody feeling? I am feeling very complete. Gary, you're feeling complete with his 53-year-old memory. He says he has no memory issues. He says I'm 52. Oops, 53. I'm just realizing the beauty of that irony. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Gary is feeling Steve. Yeah, I'm going to have fun. We're all going to have fun with Steve, and Steve continues to grow and find love and be seen and to see all of us, actually for all of us. I'm having fun with all of our journeys. And every time I see that we're all stronger and stronger and stronger and willing to own up to what it is that we're feeling from all the different levels. So I think it's fantastic. Sporty Jen, thank you, Manal. Amazing play today. Feel good. I'm 53 and I have loads of memory issues. Gary. Valerie, thank you everyone for today. So powerful. It was so powerful. There was a lot of big awarenesses for everybody that spoke, and I know that everybody that did not speak. Elena, lovely to join nearly at the end. I will be back. Thank you. Wonderful. Join. Follow me so you'll see all of them. There's a whole bunch of live streams coming up. I've got, thank you, Valerie, for the safe travels. There's Creating the Life You Desire on September 30th, October 4th, Moving Fortress Around the Heart, so that we were talking about that, Gary, for you. October 6th, well, for all of us, but we were referencing what you were talking about that you wouldn't love in. It's removing the fortress around your heart. We were talking about that during the time, I think when we were talking about the inspiration on death. And October 6th, rescripting trigger events. I'm really excited about this. This forgiveness was much more powerful than I ever imagined it could be. And I knew I didn't like the word forgiveness. And now I truly know why, because there is so much judgment in it. But it was such a powerful mechanism for us to become aware of the judgments we held. And it was so powerful in us opening ourselves up to recognizing that forgiveness and choosing to calibrate to the truth of the beauty of who we are. And that's what we are. We are beautiful. We are marvelous. We are power. We have amazing inner power that we did not speak to about how it's all about calibrating to, but we know it's about calibrating to our inner power. Inner power. Inner power. So I hope to see you all again soon. Continue the discussion in attaining your authentic life. Follow me for those of you that are new. You are all amusing. Gary, thank you for being such a model of strength and awareness and the willingness to look at all four of your bodies and explore and just be true to the intensity of life and to choose to come in from strength. And I remember Gary and Steve, both of you, a month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I don't even know, you both said at the same time, I don't know what emotions are and I don't know what feelings are. Forget how you both said it, but it was the same inspiration. And you both turned around and said that you didn't know. And I remember we cried as a group. I cried and we all cried as a group when both of you said it in the same way but different ways. It was very different the way that you said it, that you're like, what the heck? I don't feel and I don't know what emotions are. There, you remember. I remember. And now today, both of you are talking about your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts and the interaction between them all, and awareness of your beliefs and your thoughts and your emotions and your being, and still resistance, but owning that resistance from a place of liberation. And that's what it's about. It's not about feeling. It's about all of us calibrating to our inner power and our strength and looking at the Parkinsons and saying, you don't got me, I got you. Valerie speaking to her journey and saying, I am going to grow into the alignment of my truth. And I'm going to recognize that I see myself as unworthy. We all recognize, we were all willing to recognize today that we see ourselves unworthy, as unworthy. How beautiful worthy is that? How worthy is that we're all willing to see ourselves as unworthy. How powerful is that? And this is it. This is it. This is what it's all about. This is how we do it. And every day we get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we calibrate back to the truth of our worthiness, freedom, and love. Gary, I forget I have it, but my mind doesn't. Beautiful. And guess what? You can condition your mind to it's no different than anything. Just calibrate to your strength, your physical and your internal. It's your internal strength. It's the internal. It's the internal. The more and more I start to understand life it's about letting go of these external stories and focusing on the internal power. Some people are in wheelchairs and they're still really powerful. It's the internal. So it's not even that you're physically strong that makes you worthy. It's that you're worthy that makes you worthy. So you are allowing a condition to take you from living what you actually have. Some people don't even have it and allow their internal to calibrate to infinite, to unconditional. What I want is for us all to have it internally and externally. So it's not better to not have it, to have it externally and not have it internally, or to not have it externally and to have it internally. I want us all to have it internally and externally. And I want, regardless of what our external conditions are, is for us to feel like we have it externally and internally. That's where the pleasure is. That's the heaven on earth. That's the alignment. That's the journey. And that's what forgiveness brought us to. That's what forgiveness brought us to. So today, all day, I'd love for everybody to continue to give unconditional love and compassion to yourselves and to your stories, to your mind, to your emotions, to your beliefs, to your physical being, to your past. And find the highest level of vibration, of emotion that you can direct to anything that in the past has brought you resistance. So if today did anything to shift, it's to become aware of the judgments and to choose to calibrate to the highest level that you can to any story and to recognize that you're going to be on a journey to continue to calibrate until you can unconditionally love everything. Gary, you want to unconditionally love that diagnosis, because I am sure it made you live a very full last 23 years. That's where you want to calibrate to. And Steve, loving your journey, and Valerie and Elena and everybody. It's about loving our journey. Fantastic. So I am feeling complete. Does anybody have any questions, any last words, any feelings, any desires for future meditations? Sporty Jen with the hearts, fantastic. Gary sending love to Valerie. I see the hearts going. Well, you are all amazing. You are all beautiful. I will see you all in 10 days on Friday the 30th. Everybody will stay connected in the chat. It's a while. I'll be heading to Vancouver tomorrow. So stay in the chat, Attaining Your Authentic Life. If anybody's feeling anything after this and wants to share, go on in the chat, speak, talk. Let's continue to engage. You are all amazing. I am absolutely in awe of the strength, the courage, your desire to live amazing, beautiful lives and to be on the journey with you all. Enjoy, love, be amazing, be yourselves, be free. Sporty Jen, I love Vancouver too. Thank you. Love you all. I love you all. I love you all. My love always.